Can he go out? He got into bird watching, this fellow. Can he walk around without an eruv? Or if he does, would it be chayav if he with binoculars hanging around his neck?
Yes.
Yes, what? Yes, no good.
You
yes.
even talked about like a leash for a pet hanging down as a problem.
Well,
so you had to hold it a certain way.
Right, that's true. But the question is this the derech, right? It was yesterday's daf. Is this the derech to carry it? If it's the derech, so
yes, it is.
If it's the derech, then it'd be chayav, right? He'd be chayav for carrying that thing outside. If it's not the derech to wear around your neck, then maybe it's a shinui. Because at least he'll be chayav. At least he'll be potter from.
The derech. That's the whole point in the strap.
What? That's the derech. No, the question would be: Do more people hold the binoculars in the hand, or do more people keep it hanging around the neck?
It depends how expensive it is. If it's expensive, you put it on your neck in case you drop it, and then you hold it when you're watching.
Is that so?
I think it really is. That's fine if you have support for it. That's what you do.
Why is it not muksa?
Why should it be muksa? Why can't you use a binocular? Why can't you use a binocular on Shabbos? Nothing. I don't see why you can't.
I don't know.
Because you think like, why would anybody want to watch birds? Okay, that's a different question. Right? Maybe only Michigan want to watch birds.
Simon, what's the answer to that?
Santiago, is this the first bird watching Shiloh you've ever got?
I don't watch birds.
I don't know. You'll have to download my Shilohs and check, but I don't remember getting any bird watching Shilohs. Yes. I don't think so. But it's pretty good that it happens on the day that we have it in the daf.
Hashem provides. Hashem provides.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, he's looking for the smallest eggs that I'll be able to carry.
He's looking for what?
The smallest eggs from the smallest birds that he could carry on Shabbos.
Oh, I thought you were saying he's looking for it so that he can fry the eggs with the little piece. Trying to figure out what the shear of carrying for that is on Shabbos. Yeah. Okay, it's Chaza, yeah? So, Chazorah from yesterday, even though we just started.
Before you start, where, if anyone
we'll be starting on the Mishna. We'll be starting on the Mishna Tzadi Beis on the Beis. Yeah? Is that where we're starting? Yeah. Yeah. Also a major sugis tonight. So just the Chazat Tzadi Beis, there was a lot on yesterday's daf. So it started with Abaye and Rav have the same machlokes whether you say Eged Kli Shmei Eged, meaning if all the things in the Kli combine, and Abaye and Rav both changed their minds, and then we said it's only negayah to put when you put something into somebody's hand, right? Then it's not considered putting it down unless that hand is within 3 tefachim of the ground. Then the Mishnah says normal carrying is also from the Torah. You carry with the shinui, it's not also from the Torah, right? And carrying above 10 tefachim is also, right? And we learn it from the Mishkan, right? Or from that Moshe Rabbeinu was 10 amas tall, right? And then we had that whole sugi of carrying the way that most people won't carry, even though some do. That Likados Tam Beis. Then the Mishnah says carrying something in front and then it goes around to the back. Like I guess also this, what do you call it? This binoculars, the guy's carrying it to the front and then it goes around. I didn't think about that, right? Right, and then it goes around to his back, right? Or the opposite, back going to the front, which we had said that the nafkamina is that when it's going from the back to the front, it's actually a better carrying because it's more protected. When it goes from the front to the back, it's less protected. By women, it doesn't make a difference because their things go from the back to the front. And Rabbi Yehuda said that even male carriers have the same, not male as male, the humans, meaning male as what you get in your mail, like email, but real mail, snail mail, yeah? And then carrying a wallet face down. And then we said anytime the Mishnah says be'emes amru, that means that that's the halacha. Fine. That leads us to the next Mishnah. Yeah, on Tzadi Beis on the base. Yeah, so another major halacha in Hilchos Shabbos that comes up also it's more negayah to b'diavad situations, right? Meaning if you get stuck having to do a malacha, So you implement the halachas that we're going to be discussing in this mission. So, this whole Gemara. If you carry out a loaf of bread to Rosh Hashanah, you're chayav. I'm not sure why the Mishnah had to say this. I mean, we learned this many times already. I don't know if Akiva's on there, but that's yeah. Hatziyu shnayim beturim. But if two people carry out the loaf of bread, then they're potter. Something that we call shnayim shasu, two that do it. Right? Lo yochel echad lo hatziyu v'hatziyu shnayim chayavim. Right? If neither one of them was able to carry it out by themselves, and then two people carry it out, then you're chayav. For example, a couch. So a couch, let's say your normal couch, cannot be moved out by one person. So therefore, if two people carry it, that's not called two people doing it because it needed two people. Meaning two people only works if you don't need two people. Like a loaf of bread doesn't require two people to carry it out. It only requires one person to carry it out. So if two people carry it out, that's not the regular way. And therefore, you are going to be potter. You're not allowed to do it, but you're going to be potter.
A Rebbish Simcha Kala, maybe not.
I was thinking that, yeah. Maybe, right, maybe, right? And but Reb Shimon says potter even in that case. Yeah, Reb Shimon is the way to go in all Hilchos Shabbos. He's usually the Megal. Even though tonight I think.
Why, according to the Chachamim, does it make a difference? Why, according to the Tanakh, does it make a difference? The Drasha is Basaisa when he did it.
No, because that's, first of all, we're going to see on Amud Aleph that it's really going to be just, it's how they darshan the psukim. Really, it's not so much a lamdish thing, it's really how they darshan the psukim. But the pashtus is that's not called Shnayim. Shnayim Shasu is like a, Shal is how you learn it. Is it din in Shinoi? If it's a din in Shinoi, so then it's a Shinoi. Right? It's
but it's from
different
psukim, that's the lamdish.
What?
You got
to upgrade the internet over there in Cleveland. What are you saying?
What's the difference if it's? The first thing they learn it from.
You got to get better Wi-Fi.
And what?
You got to get better Wi-Fi, Gershi. As he freezes.
Okay. I don't think it's.
It's not your internet. Do they have internet down there in Cleveland?
Maybe I'm write it down in the chat.
It's not.
Gershi, tell your neighbor to upgrade his internet. No.
Oh, very good, Parrots.
Gershi, write it in the chat.
You know, you can have him hardwire it through the windows.
Now that you moved out of the town, you know what you have to do. You have to hire Siako to come talk like everybody else from out of town does.
There you go. Very good.
Siaka, maybe he'll send it in snail mail. Maybe he'll send it in some snail mail. I'll get it in a few days.
Correct. Very good. Okay, well, let's see the Gemara on Amud Aleph, and hope the internet will kick back in, and then we'll discuss it on Amud Aleph. Yeah. Amar Rav Yehuda, Zok the Gemara. Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav, V'amri lo Amar Abaya, V'amri lo Masnisa Tana, which is interesting because they're saying it's Rav Yehuda in the name of Rav. Some say it was Abaya, and then some say it's a Brisa. Right? It's interesting. Like they weren't even clear whether this is from an Amoira or from a Brisa. Right? There's a lot of years difference in between that memra. So anyway, so Tana. The Masnisa Tana, we learned in a Bryce. If each one of them is able to take it out, like we discussed, each one could take out the loaf of bread. Meir Mechayev, Meir says Chayev, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon Paitim, Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon say Potter even in that case. If both of them can't take it out, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Meir Mechayevim, Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Meir are going to be say Chayev. We're going to see why they darshan all psukim. We'll see on Amud Aleph. For Rabbi Shimon Paitim, Rabbi Shimon says it's potter. If one is able to take it out and one is not able to take it out, divrei kol chayav, then everybody holds. In that case, it's chayav. So basically, three scenarios. One is they both are able to take it out. Then the second case is they're both not able to take it out. And then the third case is one is able to take it out and one is not able to take it out. Okay? So Tanya Nami Hachi, Hamaitzi Kikar Rosh Hashanah Chayev. If you take out a loaf of bread to Rosh Hashanah, you're Chayev, Haitziu Shnayim. If two take it out, then Meir Mechayev, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Im La Yochel Echad Haitziu, Haitziu Shnayim Chayavin. Rabbi Yehuda says if one is not able to take it out and two could take it out, two do take it out, then you're Chayev. Im La Patur, if not, they're Potter. Rabbi Shimon Paitim, Rabbi Shimon says it's Potter in all the cases. Minani Mili, how do we know that? Not in all the cases, but in most of the cases. Minani Mili, how do we know this? The Tanur Rabbanan Ba'asaisa. Right? It says the word Ba'asaisa, the way they do it. Ha'aisa as kula, ba'alaya aisa as miktsasa. Only somebody who does the entire malacha, but not somebody who only does miktsasa. Ketzad. How is that? Shnayim shayu oichsin b'malgez. Two that are holding on to a malgez. It's like a pitchfork or something, right? Rashi says it has 3 teeth, right? I think pitchfork would be the right way to say it. Pitchfork? Yeah? Okay. The malgez, the
teeth is a trident.
What? You muted.
A trident.
A trident?
Reb Yaakov did not take Greek mythology like you did. He doesn't know what
when it comes to a farm, it's a pitchfork. When it comes to a farm,
it's a pitchfork. Our school
translates my days, trident was a gum. No?
If it has 3 teeth, it's a trident for 3.
That's Greek mythology.
Oh.
That's Aquaman.
Okay. Whatever it is. Okay, I never heard that, but okay, I'm more educated now than I was a minute ago. Very good. Thank you.
When it comes to pitchforks, I defer to Simon.
Yeah.
The trident would not do the same job.
Okay. So anyway, so Bimalgez v'Loigzon, if they're both holding on to this pitchfork or trident and they're pitchforking, right? Bekarkar v'Shoiftin. With a karkar, we said is a karkar is the big needle that when you're weaving clothing, so you got to put it through, right? The shiftin, and shiftin is what you do with a karkar, right? But kolmos v'kaisun, they both hold on to a pen and they write. The kana v'haitzil shusarabim, or a reed and they carry it out to shusarabim. Yachal yu chayavin. Now, obviously, these are all cases where one person can do it on his own. They don't need 2. So yachal yu chayavin, you would think there should be chayav. Tamaloimer basaisa. So only somebody does the entire thing and not somebody who does part of it, right? The eagle shell devela, if it's a cake of figs, like they make the figs into a big cake. You carry it to Rosh Hashanah. And it's a beam, and they carry it into Rosh Hashanah. These are both things that one person cannot carry on their own. If one person can't take it out, and it requires 2 people, and 2 people do take it out, chayav and they're chayav. But if not, then they're going to be potter. Shimon Omer,
Yaakov, didn't we learn this in the first Mishnah of Shabbos? They were just learning different situations now. But
yes, 100%.
So then I guess the question is, why is the Mishnah? Why is the beginning of this Gemara asking if it's Amarayim or if it's a Brisa? And
no, I think it was asking for the 3. They were asking for the 3 shitas. Meaning it was only mentioned parenthetically in the first Mishnah. Here is the main place.
Parenthetically, it was the whole Mishnah.
One of the scenarios in the Mishnah was one person handing it to the other person, so therefore it was 2.
The whole first Mishnah is
not the whole thing. That's not the whole thing. It's one is where most of the Mishnahs where one guy is doing everything. One of the scenarios is where both of them are doing it, I believe.
Okay.
I think here's the main sugya. Here is the main sugya though.
So they just break it up then, meaning like.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Right.
The question's better than the answer though. Anyways, right? So v'im la paturin. If not, then they're potter. Reb Shimon is very makel. He says even though one person is not able to take it out and it requires 2 people, still, and 2 people take it out, they're still both potter. That's why it says the pasuk ba'asaisa yochid shasa chayiv, shnaim shasu paturin. One person that does it is chayiv, and 2 that do it is potter. That is the Reb Shimon is learning it across the board. 2, no matter what, is potter.
This is where it comes from. If 2 people hold the light switch.
100%. That's exactly it. Right. If you have to if for whatever reason you have to turn on the light on Shabbos, drive a car, that you want to try and get 2. Usually it's an emergency, so you don't really have to make yourself meshuga. But yeah, l'chatchila you try to get 2 people to do it. Yeah. Right. So, what are they arguing about? Bahayikra. They're arguing this pasuk. Vim nefesh achas techata b'shkaga me'aretz ba'soisa. Right. So it says if one nefesh will do a chet b'shkaga b'shoigig me'amaretz. We're from an amaretz ba'soisa when he does it. Reb Shimon savar tlasa miyute ksivi. It says 3 things to be learned out from 3 exclusions in this pasuk. Nefesh techata achas. Right. That's one thing. Techata ba'soisa. Techata chad lemuyute ze oike v'zemenich v'chad. I'm sorry. I read this. Yeah, Rav Shimon savar tlasa miyute ksivi. Nefesh techata achas, techata ba'soisa, and techata. So therefore, right, there's three of them. One is coming to exclude if one picks it up and one puts it down. Simon, that's the Mishna. That's the first Mishna. One picks it up, one puts it down. And one is coming to exclude where each one of them is able to do it, and they both do it. And one's coming to exclude one who this one can't do it and that one can't do it. So therefore, he has 3 exclusions from this pasuk. Therefore, Reb Shimon holds any time 2 people are involved, they are out. They're
so Yaakov, Reb Shimon holds their putter, but is it still usher to do? Meaning, is it like almost like chati shir usher manatayr?
Yes, 100%.
You're still doing something.
Yes, it's usher to do.
I don't mean patal ava usher midarabban. I mean usher because it's chati shir.
Usher of chati shir. We're going to discuss that in Amud Beis. That's good. I'll give it. That's a good question. On Amud Beis, it's not going to say it exactly like that, but the Gemara is going to declare exactly what the heter is. You'll hold off till Amud Beis, and we'll see. But Rabbi Yehuda has a different way. Rabbi Yehuda says one is coming to exclude where one picks it up, one puts it down. One is coming to exclude where this one is able to and this one's able to. A fascinating case. And one is coming to exclude a yachid who does it by Bezdin paskin incorrectly. And the guy does it. He asks a shaila, he gets told a psak, and he does it. And now it ends up being wrong. Is he chayav achatas now or not? So Rabbi Yehuda holds, yes, he is.
Isn't there already a mute by the parsha of Carbon Nasi, Carbon Bez, Carbon Sanhedrin?
Yeah, but that's for the Sanhedrin, I think. No,
the person who did it doesn't have to bring. Even if the whole Klal Yisrael, they don't have to bring. The Bezdin does.
Well, there.
What?
What do you mean in this situation?
In this situation with Bezdin, I think that's only if the whole Klal Yisrael has that sin. This sounds like only a small Bezdin with an individual.
Well, what you're saying
says.
Look at what you talking about the Gemara in Hairis?
Yeah.
Yeah, Taisus. Look at the third Taisus down. You mechavan to the third Taisus. Right? Whether it's a Einus or Shaygig, but very good, yeah? So, but Reb Shimon here ends up being Machmer, because look at Reb Shimon's sheet. Reb Shimon, Yachid Shasab, Reb Shimon already used the 3 exclusions for 2 people doing it. So now how does he have this exclusion of somebody who does it with the Psak of Bezdin? Reb Shimon, Yachid Shasab Eros Bezdin chayav. So here Reb Shimon's actually machmar. He holds of a Yachid, very interesting shita. A Yachid gets told by Bezdin to do something and he does it. He's still chayav, even though he had absolutely no fault whatsoever. Yeah, so that's his shita. Right? Meir miksiv nefesh techata, achas techata, basaisa techata. Does it say all those 3? It doesn't say that. There's only 2 things to be excluded here, not 3. One comes to exclude and one comes to exclude a yachid that does it under Bezdin's auspices. And that's it. That's why Meir is the most machmer, because he only has 1 exclusion from this pasuk. What are you saying?
What's pshat you would be chayav by on his Bezdin? Meaning, why do you? First of all, what's pshat in Reb Shimon? And secondly, why do you even need a miyat? It's an einus. What is he supposed to do?
What? Well, that's Taisvis. That's really what
I know.
Taisvis
I understand that, but what's the pshat? First of all, what's pshat in the shita that holds your chayav? And second of all, why do you need? Why do you even need a miyat?
Because Lamaisa, he ate a piece of
why do you need a miyat at all? We know einus is pater min atayr stam. We don't need a
but
for that.
But I don't know if he's obviously not learning.
What's
that it's
different about Hayras Bezdin that it's a different type of einus? Every einus
but he's clearly not learning that it's an einus.
So nobody's learning. Nobody's learning it's an onus because they still need it as a miyat. Obviously, it's not like a normal case of onus. So what's different about it?
There's two cases in the Gemara there. The main case is where the guy who does the isser knows that it's usser, and he does it because Bezdin says it's mutter.
It's almost like the Gemara in Ksubas about onus that's done.
Yeah, I've heard something like that, where the guy was already skeptical on the issue l'chatchila.
The guy knew it was usser.
That's why he looked into it, and he got wrong psak.
Yeah. It happens all the time today. You find dialahefter.com, that kind of thing.
Yeah, is it like Einus Baratzen? Is it like Einus Baratzen, like the Gemara in Ksubas?
I don't know. I'm not sure. All right, let's see about it. Yeah, it's getting a little late. Let's go a little bit because we still have a lot of lumdish stuff going on here tonight. Yeah. So Mar, right? So Mar said, right? Mar is we're repeating what we discussed. Zeh yochel, zeh eino yochel. If one is able to and one is not able to, divrei hakol chayav. Everybody says it's chayav. So now the question is, who's the one that's chayav? Meaning one guy is able to do it, and one guy is not able to do it. So we're saying. One guy's chayav. So which guy's chayav? The guy that couldn't do it or the guy that could do it? So Rav Chisda zeh sheyochel. It has to be the guy that's able to do it. These are she'eino yochel, ma'ika ovid. If the guy who's not able to do it, what did he do exactly? Meaning you have two guys. One guy has the ability to move the couch, let's say, and one guy can't. So the guy that has the ability to move the couch on his own moved it out, right? So why should the guy who didn't have it? He didn't even need the other guy.
You know what? Maybe the opposite.
What?
I mean, the guy that could do it by himself. One second. The guy that can do it himself did a shina by doing it with someone else. The guy that can't do it with someone else, he didn't do a shina. He needed help anyways.
What do you mean? He didn't do anything though. What did he? What was he?
He did it the way the guy that can't do it did it the regular way that he would normally do it.
The guy that can't do it,
he needed someone's
help from the guy who could do it.
The guy that could do it by himself, he did it with a shina by doing it with someone else.
But the guy that could do it didn't need the other guy. Rabaran, you're muted.
That's why it's a shina.
Rabaran, you're muted. You're muted, Rabaran. Rabaran, you're muted.
Why is that a shinoi? It's not a shinoi.
You do it differently.
I didn't do anything different. I picked up the box. It weighs 100 pounds. I can carry it. And some shmendrik picks up the box. I didn't do a shinoi. What kind of
Yaakov, you know how entertaining it is when Rabaran Horowitz doesn't realize he's on mute and he's yelling at Naftali Liner. You know how entertaining that is?
Aaron, I had to do something for you because I didn't wear a Moshe's robe tonight, so I did something.
Today you're wearing a different pajama shirt. No, it's okay.
Anyways, so
Naftali's right. I don't understand
why
this.
The guy who could do it by himself got it out of the house. Who cares that there was another guy that helped him?
Because Lamai said, what's the difference between Zayachel and Zayachel, and they both do it?
It's not the normal way for him to carry it now. Normal way for him to carry it by himself.
This has nothing to do with shinoi. Nothing to do with shinoi. Zayachel v'Zayachel, they're both potter, right?
Zayachel, they're both potter, correct.
What did the other guy do? This guy could do it himself.
No, but both of them had the ability to do it. So for both of them, it was not.
But each one of them can say the other guy did nothing.
Correct, but we don't. Right, so that we're not going to say. But here you have the guy that's Zeh Yochel. So why should the Zeh Eina Yochel be involved?
Because if both of them were Eina Yochel, they'd be chayav, right? Zeh Eina Yochel v'Zeh Eina Yochel, they'd be chayav.
Right.
Why? Because he needs the other guy.
Right.
So I have two cases. Either neither one needs the other guy, in which case they're both potter. But where they both need the other guy, because they need the other guy, they're both chayav.
Okay, so it could be you're saying the Toisus. If you look at Toisus, Hey Minayu, chayav, that's the fifth Toisus down. Right? Is that what he's saying?
Something like that, but I don't know what the answer is.
What? Okay. Yeah, we got to go back.
Just says Dane's smart.
What?
Yeah.
No, I think that's what Tais is saying, but Tais doesn't really say pshat. Okay, whatever. If that's what you and Naftali are saying. Okay. So Amalei Rav Amnuna the Komasaya Bahadei. So Rav Amnuna says he did help. right? So I don't know how that fits in with your guys' kasha or not. Okay, Amarle, Messiah ain't by mamish, a major sugya here. Messiah, this is a major sugya also in the lumdus. Somebody who helps out is ain't by mamish, right? Meaning the most common application of this is if you go to a barber, I think this would be the most common application. You go to a barber and he decides to take out a razor, or he gives you too short a haircut, right? So are you chayav for it or not? So the question is, don't move your head. If you didn't, did you move your head? Did you not move your head? Right? Moving your head, you're helping him cut it, right? So the question is Messiah mamish or not? If Messiah is mamish, so then you'd be chayav for this guy giving you too short a haircut or shaving where he's not supposed to, right? But if Messiah is ain't by mamish, so you did nothing wrong, right? Yeah. Okay. Same. Yeah. That's also cutting nails and all that. Fine. So we get into Simon, back to tum and tara. Yay. Right, if you're sitting on top of a bed, there's talking about a zav, right? So anything under a zav, like we said many times, is going to become tumah. So if the zav is sitting on a bed, meaning even if he's not directly touching it, so he's sitting on a bed, and there's 4 taluses, I guess. I don't know if that's the way you say it. Talay, I guess, but it's okay. Yeah, 4 talesim. Well, I'm trying to fit it into the lashon of the Gemara, taluyos, right? Why doesn't he call it talesim? Unless, right? I don't know. Maybe it's Aramaic. Right? Taluyos tachas ragli amita. There's 4 taluyos under each foot of the bed. They're all 4 tomei, because if you take one leg of a bed and you remove it, right, the whole bed's going to collapse. Right? But Reb Shimon says it's tar. Fine. Al Gabi Behema. Now again, why is Reb Shimon mitar before we go out there? Because he's saying Ze Yachol. I'm sorry, Ze Eina Yachol, but Ze Eina Yachol. Right? He also holds his potter. So Mameli is going to hold its tar too. Let's say this zav is riding on a behema, and there's 4 talis under each one of the feet of the behema. They're tar. They're all going to be tar because an animal can stand on 3 feet. Right? An animal can lift up its leg for a while and it'll still stay upright. So therefore, we don't need one of those legs. So therefore, the other one's a Messiah. Still, it should be tumah because each one of those is helping, right? No, the reason is because Messiah, if all you're doing is helping out, then it's aimed by mamish. And since this animal can theoretically stand on 3 legs, you don't know which one of the 4 legs he's deciding that he could lift up. So therefore, all of them don't have the din. Some Rav Yehuda made the sikrasa. Rav Yehuda made the sikrasa. I really tell you, no, Messiah, if you help out, meaning even though you're not doing the main thing, you're just helping out, there is something to it. And here we're talking about where he totally uprooted it. And since he is, I'm sorry, no. Here it's talking about where he totally lifted it up, right? Meaning there's no Messiah. There's no Messiah here at all. He totally lifted up and he held it up. So Gemara says, but since sometimes he picks up this leg and sometimes he picks up this leg, let it be like a zav who rolls around while he sleeps, right? Again, a zav is making anything under him tummy. We're not learning in Mishna. So you have a zav who is laying across 5 benches, or on 5 money belts, like we had yesterday. So if he lays lengthwise along the length of the benches, then they're all going to be tumah. The rachban, but if he goes the width across all 5 benches, right, or across all 5 money belts, so the rachban tahirin yashan. But let's say he falls asleep, safik mishapach alein tamein, right? But if he's a son, right? So when you sleep, you move around when you sleep. So how do you know? Just because he started off in one angle, one direction, maybe he's going to flip around to the other direction. Must be because he's saying ain't by mamish, so we don't know if he's fully on one or not. Fine. So Amra Papish made the Rava Afan Hanamitinino. We also learned this that Rabbi Yossi Aimer Hasus Matama Al Yadav. A sus becomes tame from its hands, meaning its front two legs. Four legs, right? Hasus Matame Al Yadav, right? If he has talesim under his front legs, right, then it's tame. But if the talesim are under the back legs, then it's tar, because it doesn't lean on. It doesn't really lean on its back legs. I don't know exactly what that means. I don't know if anybody's into horses, right? But a chamor, a sus metama al yodav. So a sus is going to be metama only talis that's under its front legs, and a chamor is al raglov, and a chamor is on its back legs. Shemeshayin is a sus al yodav because a horse rests on its front legs. A chamor al raglov, and a chamor rests on its back legs. I don't know exactly what this means, because I mean, doesn't it need four legs?
Seems to make sense. Because a horse in general goes in the forward direction. That's their big thing. While donkeys, try to fight back in being schlepped ahead, so they're going to lean their weight going in the other direction.
I hear. So you're saying the ikr weight, even though they still need the other legs for balance, but the ikr is the front.
Right.
They were saying,
that's what I assume.
Okay.
It's very not scientific. It's just thinking.
Sounds good to me. It's more scientific than I have. I won't tell you where I went to high school. Fine. So Gemara says, right? Aren't the other legs helping out? Must be because we say Messiah does nothing to it. So fine. And then another proof. Let's say the animal has one.
No, it's the Kohen. It's the Kohen.
We're talking about a Kohen. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, we're done with animals. Right? The Kohen. Ragle achas ala kli, ragle achas ala ritzvah. He has 1 foot on top of a kli and 1 foot on top of the ground. Ragle achas ala even, ragle achas ala ritzvah. Or 1 foot on the stone and 1 foot on the stone floor. Ryan kol shilu yinata la kli, v'tinata la even. Then we look, and if you would take away, we analyze it. If you would take away the kli, or take away the stone, he would be able to stand on 1 foot. His avodah is kosher. And if not, his avodah is possible. Right? Meaning the kohen has to have both feet on the ground, really. But now he has one resting. So the question is, does he have the ability to rest, to be able to stand on one leg or not? If he does, then b'diavad, his avodah is going to be good, because you look at it like he was still standing on the stone floor. But if he can't stand that way, what? It's a chatzitza, yeah. Chatzitza, right? But if not, then we don't. If he could lean with it, then if he could stand with one leg, so it's meaningless that his other leg is resting on a kli or resting on a thing, right? The Gemara says, isn't the other leg helping him out? Isn't it because we don't care if it's helping out? If the main leg is on the stone floor and the other leg is just helping, we don't. It's not a problem, and it would not be a chatzitza. So Ravina afananamitinina, kibo biyamin v'small misayasai. I'm sorry, kibo biyamin if he's makabel it with his right hand, right? Kohen always has to do all the avodah with the right hand. Kibo biyamin v'small misayasai, but he uses the left hand to help out. Avodah ksheira is avodah ksheira. V'amai ha'ovam misayeh ba'adi adadi with the left hand's helping out. So therefore, Messiah is aimed by mamish mamino. So therefore we do paskin that Messiah is aimed by mamish. If you have to hold the kais with your right hand, right? Just trying to bring it to a practical thing, right? If you have to hold the kais in your right hand, but it's a big kais, and you need that. You keep the left hand to steady it. That's not considered like you're holding it with your left hand. Obviously, on the previous Gemara with the kohen. With a practical application as that is when you have to stand. The most practical application I find that people ask is by Vidu and Yom Kippur. So Vidu and Yom Kippur, you have to stand. Right? For Vidu, you always stand for Vidu. But you're tired at the end of the day. You want to lean on a stender. Right? Is that called standing or is that called sitting? Right? Same thing with Shmanes. Shmanes, you have to stand up. Can you lean on a stender? So the answer is, and the halacha is very simple. If you remove the stender, the person will fall down. Then it's as if he's sitting. right? If you remove the standing, he'll still be able to stand, and that's still considered standing, right? That's what this Gemara is saying, right? And then Messiah is saying by Mamish, right? Fine. So Omar Mar, Zeh Yochel v'Zeh Yochel. Now we get into the lumdus of the Zeh Yochel v'Zeh Yochel Akiva. Yeah, if this one's able to and this one's able to, Rameir Mechayev. Rameir says chayav. Yibaylu b'inyan shir lezeh v'shir lezeh. Aydum a shir achas l'kulam. Do we need a shir for each one of them, or is one shir enough for both? Meaning you got two people doing a malacha, right? Let's say they're carrying out food. So we said food is a groigris, is a dried fig. So now two guys are carrying out, right? Rameir, again, this is only, we don't paskin like this shita because we hold that you're potter. But Rameir holds your chayav, right? Even if both are able to carry out the loaf of bread, right? Rameir says chayav. So according to Rameir, does it need to be 2 shiurim or 1 shir? Meaning, how can you say if the minimum shir is a dried fig and they're carrying out a loaf of bread the size of a dried fig, how can you say both are chayav if neither one of them carried the proper amount of food out on Shabbos? Because meaning if it was 2 groigers, okay, each one gets one groigers to his credit or lack of credit, and therefore they're going to be chayav. Right? So do you need 2 shiurim or is it even 1? Rav Chisda, Rav Nuna. So it's a machlokes Rav Chisda and Rav Nuna. Chadam shir lezeh v'shir lezeh. No, you need to have 2 shiurim. Each one needs a shir. Chadam shir echad l'kula, and which is the way we pass it. It just you need 1 shir for both of them. Amar Papa Shmei the Rava Afananam. Tinina, we also have a proof to this. Yoshev agabi mita barber talias tachas. Right? We can't get away from this case. If you're sitting on a bed. The Zav is sitting on a bed, and there's 4 talis under each leg of the bed. Tameas, they're all 4 talis are tameas, because a bed can't stand on 3 legs. Why don't we need a sheer ziva for each one of them? Meaning, how can one Zav make 4 different legs? Tame? Why don't we need a sheer for each one? And is it not because we say it's 1 share for each one of them? We also have a proof to this. If you have a deer that went into a house, and one guy sits by the doorway and he locks the deer in the house, so he's chayav, obviously. But let's say 2 guys sit down in front, then they're peturin. Yeah, because that's shnayim shasu. Let's say it's a wide doorway, and one guy goes in the doorway, the deer can get around him. So if one guy can't lock in the deer, v'nolu shnayim, and 2 guys go, then v'nolu and shnol shnayim chayom, then they're both chayav, right? Like we said, because if one person can't do the job, so then 2 people doing the job is not considered shnayim shasu. How come? Why don't we need that each one should have to make its own trapping? Right? They're only trapping 1 animal. Why does it have to be that if there's 2 animals in there, then each one should be chayav? Only 1 animal. How do we make both of them chayav? Is it not because we say 1 shear is enough for both of them to be chayav? So that's another proof. We have another proof for this. So the rule is that if normally you steal a behemoth from somebody and you don't admit to it and you shecht it, then you have to pay 4 times. You have to pay back 4 times the price of the animal, right? And if you shecht it, then you have to pay 5 back. 5 if you steal it. If you steal and you don't admit, it's 4 times. If you shecht it, then you need to pay 5 times the animal. Chayav, and so, but let's say partners do it. Let's say 2 guys decide to steal it and they shecht it. So they're chayav. Why don't we need a sheer tficha for each one? Meaning, if they stole 2 animals, fine, but they only stole 1 animal, right? Is it not also there because we say 1 shear to all of them? Fine, that's another proof. And then another proof. 2 guys that carry out a reed of a gardi of the what do you call it? It's not really a reed. It's more like a stick that, again, going through the woof and the what do you call it? The woof and the weaving thing. That whole weaving system.
Woof and the wharf.
The woof and the warp. Right? Yeah. So you have to put that stick through it. So if 2 guys do it, 2 guys carry out that stick, that has the thread on it, the chayav. We know that the shear is one reed. So how come each one should have to? It should have to be a shear of two reeds, right? Is that also because we say it's one shear for everybody involved? Maybe that reed was big enough that you can cook a chicken egg, right, scrambled, like we said, for each one, and therefore really it does have two shiurim in one reed. Imkain, so if so, if that's the case, then why don't you just say a reed? Mishna the gardi. Why are you saying that it's a reed that gets used by a weaver? So the Gemara says, and then maybe there's enough on that reed that each one can weave their own shmata. Mappa is a shmata. Mappa is like a cloth, right? No, from this last proof, there's nothing. You can't bring a proof, which I found very interesting. So the Gemara brings about 5, 6 proofs, whatever it is, 5 proofs, right? And then he brings a last proof, and you think, okay, sounds like a pretty good proof to me. And then the Gemara decides to still slug it up. Wait a minute, we have 5 other proofs, right? Fine. 2 people that carry out this reed of a gardi of the weavers, you put the Reb Shimon mechayev. And Reb Shimon's chayav, klapi laya, it's the opposite. I mean, Reb Shimon is the one that says potter. So switch it. Let's say, really, it's chayav, and Reb Shimon says potter. Okay.
So Yaakov,
Yes.
just want to the idea that that Gemara keeps bringing your eyes to.
Class is dismissed. If anybody wants to, class is dismissed.
The idea that two people.
No, everybody can hang on. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? For those that are tired, it's, go ahead.
This is the best
the
part.
Idea the idea that two people that are doing it together are chayav because, the Gemara keeps bringing your eyes to that. Is that proof to the idea that shutzvin each have an entire hold on their half?
I hear. What do you mean? Do you say breira? Is that where you're going down?
Breira,
breira now?
Yeah.
Sheesh, you're really in some mood tonight.
But you see that the Gemara. Otherwise, how could you say you don't need 2 gregaris? How could each one have? If you only need a half a gregaris, how you chayav chachatos for that? Obviously, the fact that each one has a full amount, or we look at it as if each one has a full amount.
Right, I hear. But what he's asking is that when partners split something up, so does each one have a portion each thing, or not? That's what he's asking.
Full amount. How do you look at shutzvahs?
Correct. So you're saying this is a proof. This is a proof that each one has in each thing.
A full
That's
amount.
What you're saying.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. See, somebody just texted. Is he allowed to buy something that's? Is he allowed to buy stolen goods? There you go. We just learned that. Yeah. Anyways. Gershon, what did you want to say? What were you saying before?
Well, Basaisa?
Yeah.
I don't really, I saw afterwards the way the Gemara learned the three drushes or 2 drushes. But Lamaisa, the taich of the word Basaisa is as he did it.
Right.
That's singular. Why isn't that an automatic pratla to the do it?
You're saying Basaisa
is singular.
Right.
Why do they need Reb Shimon Lamashal? Reb Shimon needs 3 mutim,
right?
For in the single,
right?
Why isn't it just simple? Ba'asaisa when he did it. Well, he didn't do it. 2 people did it.
So you're saying Ba'asaisa is 2 people did it. What's on Reb Shimon holds his potter?
Yeah, but why does he need 3 drushes?
What?
Why does he need 3 mutim?
I think he's just
Taich. Taich is 1 person.
Right.
The Gemara seems to treat it as like a daya, lebam and din liyas kanadin kind of thing.
Right.
I'm just not quite sure why.
See, once you get into drushes, then there's really like all bets are off. No, I'm serious. Like, it's nothing you're going to do. That's the way he's dashing the psukim.
No, when it's a kind of taich drasha, the Gemara often says It's a prat lekulam.
Right.
Re'ehu,
Right,
prat everyone, because it's not re'ehu. So this is not basaisa. This is not echad, achas, whatever.
I hear.
By the way, Gershi, I thought there's a difference between the case where it's Shnaim, Shiachal, each one's able to do it, and the difference between one's able to do it, one's not. When both are able to do it, you can't say one is doing it more than the other. When one is able to do it, one is not. The Gemara says it's less by mom. She's not helping at all. With the idea that somebody's helping is not helping at all. When two are able to do it, you can't say one is doing more than the other.
I got to go down
Meir.
All right, fellows.
I have a case for you.
Good night, thank you.
Okay, have a good night.
Good night. Good night, Yashikaya. Kiva.
Yes. I'm only saying in the Maskan of the Gemara.
Yeah. But Lamashal, you have one of the world's strongest men, right? So he can carry a couch by himself. But how would he do it? He'd give it a bear hug up the middle and carry it. He can't
now
carry
you're asking,
it.
I'm just doing an average case. I'm saying a case of a gregaris. Each one can carry it. So in such a case, you can't say one is carrying more than the other. B'mitzias.
Well, I mean, what's the case?
In Londis, actually.
The only reason I'm thinking that particular case is because you're talking about gregaris of food. Who's ze'ein yachal?
Correct. So in such a case, you can't look at each one more than the other.
No, but then he's not carrying it. He's not helping the guy.
You're not helping. Each one's not helping the other because each one can do it themselves.
That's not what I'm saying. If you have a gregaris of food, right? Let's say he takes an egg outside. Yeah, two people carry an egg.
Parents, I feel bad keeping you on.
If two people carry an egg and one of them is ze'ein yachal, what does that mean? He's not able to carry an egg. He doesn't have hands, and what's he doing?
No, obviously we're talking about something that's mamish heavy, and one's able to do it, one's not. But my point is that in a case where both are able to do it, you can't look at one as doing more than the other. You can't if they're both doing it. Lumdis, you can't look at it that way. But when one is holding it and one's not, the Gemara comes out that just helping him when he could do it himself and you couldn't do it yourself, it less may mamish. We don't look at his helping as being involved in the actual action. The Gemara has to come out that's true, but in the case where both are able to do it, we can't in Lumdis look at one doing it more than the other. We can't. Both have. It's almost like Shnayim and Shalichzu. Both have a full kula shali.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Yeah, that I understood already. That's all I was saying.
That's all I was saying.
I was saying that rhetorically, just for the case of when one can and one can't. So if you have Zayachal, and Zayachal, the two extremes.
There's no shinoi. Right. No, I'm just saying the difference between Zayachal with Zayachal and Zayachal with Zayachal, and that we don't look at one of the shinis because each one's doing the full action. Different than Zayachal with Zayachal, where we say that the one that's not doing it, we look at him as less mamish. He's not doing anything.
Okay, and what do you say with Zayachal with Zayachal?
That's completely different. I wasn't getting involved in that. I wasn't discussing. I was just doing my thoughts between.
So I was looking at both. You look at both extremes and then the middle.
Right, but I was just saying the difference.
I understood that originally. That's I get.
I thought you were asking from that case. I wasn't discussing the case of Zayachal.
Oh no. I was saying if you have Zayachal, they're both patur. Why? Because each one can do it by themselves, and the other one's what? And if you have Zayachal, neither one can do it by himself. The other one's helping him. So that's patur. So if you look at Zayachal v'Zayachal, the Eina Yachal should be chayav, not the Yachal. The Yachal you can kind of because the Yachal.
So the Gemara is saying less may mamish. You're not doing anything.
I would argue that depends on the case. Then that's all I'm pointing out. There are cases where he is doing something.
It could be. I don't know. Then you have to know.
Gemara doesn't say that.
So you have to know. I don't know. Then you have to know what the mitzvah is. I don't know what we would paskin on such a thing. If you mamish, if that person couldn't do it, I don't know. That's debatable. I don't know.
There are many cases. Look, we had a couple. We had last week. The world's strongest man could pull a plane like 3 weeks ago.
Correct.
Yeah, you have two people doing it. He's not helping him. Of course, he's helping him. You can't say that's ein by mamish, but the Gemara is saying that's ein by mamish. So there has to be some extra lumdus there that we're not getting. I don't know what it is, but
Right. I hear.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Fine. No problem. Yashikach.
Good
Good
night.
luck. Good night.